you've clearly are ahead of the curve in figuring out that the whole sales profession is changing to be a lot more about being the consultant and the teacher and the trusted advisor, and way less just on the transaction, just by the whole methodology that you're explaining that you're using to figure out what needs to be done, and supplying the product is secondary to all of that. With all of that in mind, if someone approached you that was thinking of getting into a sales career and they were really early on in this process, maybe they're still in high school or they're just starting out college, maybe it's a neighbor's son or daughter or friend or family member or relative or something, and they're in a situation of they're trying to figure out if this is a good viable path for them, what kind of advice would you give to someone in that situation that's exploring something related to B2B or mid-market or enterprise kind of sales, specifically leaning towards technology?
Sure. Yeah. So I think everywhere you read, every conference you go to, labor comes up, right? It's an issue that is coming up at every level of every organization, from just the actual laborers in the workforce to C-suite, trying to figure out how we can get more folks involved, right? So whether that's dealing with kids at trade schools, whether it's the trade colleges, or whether it's folks that are going for a 4-year degree that want to get into business in some sense, I would absolutely recommend this field, just and technology in general. I think it's future proofed, right? It's the demand is far outpacing the supply at this point. And it's a fun industry, right? It's all cutting edge stuff. It's a great environment. You meet a lot of great people, and I would just tell you that take a chance, get out there, meet a lot of people, network as much as you can, and if you can take an internship somewhere at one of these technology companies, or anyone that's involved in the supply chain for the data center world, do it. Take a chance, and you won't be disappointed.
It's some really interesting feedback, because there are some grassroots initiatives that have popped up the last couple of years in and around the data center industry, recognizing, like, if you think back to the mid to late 2010s, you go to a conference and you look around, you're like, wow, like the average age of this group, clearly there's a big percentage of the group that's getting closer to retirement. What's going to be next? So they've done a reasonably good job of getting out to the high schools and the colleges. However, I think a big part of that, however, is they're still focusing a lot on the IT careers and the facilities careers and the construction careers. I think there's a whole redefining what the client-facing playbooks looks like across the whole GTM team, whether it's sales leading the charge, marketing leading the charge, whether it's account managers dealing with post-purchase and project management type of considerations, whether it's product managers. So yeah, that's an interesting challenge just in and of itself, is how you find the space to make that a priority to proactively recruit, and how you convince leadership to invest in internship type of programs for this kind of talent. Because for sure, if you think there's few colleges where you can major in data centers, there's also very few colleges where you can take many sales related courses. Marketing maybe a little, but sales is tougher. So like, how do you get the hands-on experience?
Right. And I don't think a lot of folks are going to school of any kind, specifically focused on the data center world. A lot of it's more of just general business, and all of that applies, right? Whether it's marketing, finance, sales, whatever it might be, there's a role for you in this space. And I tell people, listen, it's a career. It's not a job, because you're going to be able to grow your skill set, learn a ton throughout the whole process. And really you're kind of making your own path, right? You figure out where you want to go, and sky's the limit.
So it's interesting too, when you think about that level of specialization, as I sometimes come across companies in this space where data centers are one of 3, 4, 5 different lines of business. And some of them try to have a single sales team and a single marketing team that covers 3, 4, 5 different verticals and lines of business. Some of them break that up and have specializations, but that for sure introduces some interesting challenges as well when you're trying to advance a narrative of your team really being experts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So